And hello, welcome to Sound Mind, Sound Body. This is the first Sound Mind, Sound Body of 2025. And I'm Izzy Naud. I'm a health and well-being coach for the music industry. And my guest today is Veronique De Leon. Hello, Veronique. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm okay, thanks. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. I'm going to introduce you and then we'll have a conversation.
Sure.
Veronique De Leon is the founder of the SolSync coaching practice, tailored specifically for artists and professionals in the electronic music industry. Her coaching services stem from her 9 year involvement in various capacities within our industry, from her roles as an artist liaison, club manager, artist manager, and stage manager at festivals and club shows to her experience at as a musical programmer at this school. I don't know if I pronounced that right. How do you say it?
Yeah, in Dutch is the school, but yeah, the school. Yeah.
This whole
Yeah,
Amsterdam
yeah.
elevation events in Netherlands, known from Soenda Festival, WAB, and
Yeah,
Was and
yeah.
Art Festival. She brings a own expertise to her practice. Her approach is distinguished by its science based, holistic perspective that deeply connects the mind and body. Having witnessed both the exhilarating and challenging sides of this dynamic industry, she founded SolSync to help event and music professionals achieve a healthier and more sustainable lifestyle, enabling them to continue their passion for music in a balanced way. So far, SolSync has collaborated with events such as Amsterdam Dance Event, that's where we met last year,
Yep.
Dekmantel, Kraft und Licht, Wildeboer, Wildeweide, and Zizot. Yeah, my Dutch is bad, huh?
Oh, it's pretty good for somebody that's not native in Dutch.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
welcome, Veronique.
thank you.
So today we'll dive into a topic which is the importance of daylight. But
Mm-hmm.
before, I'd like to learn about a bit more about you. Can you share a bit about your background?
Yeah, well, you already mentioned some stuff with your introduction, but yeah, I'm 35 years old. I live in Utrecht in the Netherlands. It's like in the center of the Netherlands. And I've been working in the event industry for, yeah, I would say 10 years now, since I've been doing SolSync for a year. But I was heavily involved in like event production and those kind of things for 9 years. Started off freelancing at different events, doing like artist management on the festivals, stage management, all those kind of things. And 2 years after that, I became head of programming for Elevation Events. It's an event organization in Utrecht, and they produce festivals all year round, varying from like 1,000 capacity to 18,000 capacity, indoor and outdoor. And also, whilst I was working there, I founded a nightclub that was called Was. It's still running today. Um, and yeah, I worked there for 6 years. Yeah, and during those 6 years, the pandemic also hit. So I was forced to stand still for 2 years and finally experienced what it was like to have a normal sleeping rhythm, because I was also the club manager at the venue that I founded. So I was working club nights. So yeah, it was a lot of night work, and yeah, going back and forth with your sleep cycle. So during the pandemic was the first time in many years that I experienced what it was like to have a healthy circadian rhythm, as that is called, like a biorhythm. So that made me realize, like, whoa, there's more to life than just feeling groggy and tired and yeah, basically hungover the whole week, because yeah, by the time you recovered, it all starts over again, and then you're back at, yeah, ground zero. And also at the time, I was having some health issues, like a candida overgrowth in my gut. And my GP told me that she couldn't help me because it's not an official recognized disease. So I went to a nutritionist and healed myself through diet and some supplements. And that basically started the whole, discovery of wellness, health optimization, all those kind of things. So I also started during the pandemic, like a home studies about orthomolecular nutrition because I wanted to learn everything myself. Then everything opened back up. I was still working at elevation events, but I didn't find the joy anymore that I used to have, that I used to get from producing festivals. And yeah, I already knew back then that I wanted to do something with wellness, health optimization, all those kind of things. But yeah, since I didn't really have like a full degree or anything like that, I didn't really know what to do. And also at that time, the school was working on their reopening in Amsterdam. So they, approached me if I wanted to become one of the musical programmers there. So by the time they were open for like 2 months or so, I agreed to their offer. So I worked there for the final year of the club, like the final year and like a little few months after that. So a year and a half, more or less. And then the school closed like exactly 1 year ago today. And during my time at the school, I was also hosting a lot of artist dinners as part of my job before the club night started. And every dinner, I was helping artists that were there with questions about their health, like their nutrition, their sleep, their stress, their jet lags, and so on and so on. And yeah, they were literally telling me like, whoa, I would really love to have somebody like you on my team, next to my agent and my manager. Like, why is there no help out there like this? So yeah, that kind of like let the light bulb go on in my head. I was like, holy shit, this is something I can be doing because apparently there's still a big need for help. Also specific help from people that know the world from the inside out instead of going to a regular therapist or something like that.
How
Um,
important is that?
yeah, because it is a microcosm and you can only understand this world if you've really been in it and you also feel more of a connection maybe in that sense. That's at least the feedback that I get from clients, that they feel like they don't have to hold back or that they can tell anything and that I fully understand them straight away. We're on the same level. And there's also no taboo because, if you've been involved in this world for so long, you've basically seen it all. So yeah, that makes that people instantly feel connected and safe, which is extremely valuable. So yeah, and basically 2 or 3 months after the closing of the school, I founded SolSync. Um, and yeah, I've been helping people ever since. So working at festivals, also doing health consultations there with artists, but also workshops like this or in real life. And one-to-one clients. So international or face-to-face in the Netherlands. So yeah, it's been an adventure and it's been super fun. And I feel very lucky that I've been able to follow this path now and do what I love to do, helping people, working with music and artists and people that I love still, but also working with my other passion, which is wellness and all things health related, basically. Yeah.
Great. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And it's also good that you have opportunities to. You were an official speaker at the Amsterdam Dance Event last year.
Yeah.
Last week you were at the ESNS, and so
Hmm.
you get a lot of exposure in the industry.
For sure. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I can't complain. I'm still flabbergasted sometimes from all the opportunities that I already had so far. Just started off with the business and already working with so many great events. So I'm blessed for sure. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah.
Yes, and your work is much needed, as much as what I'm
Your
doing
work
is
as
the
well.
same.
Yeah.
Yes, like
Yeah.
I was so happy to meet with you and learned about how you approach health and well-being, and to
Yeah.
exchange. It's like a really lovely. Like I see it. like we're colleagues. I don't see it like competition at all
No, for sure. Yeah,
because
yeah,
each person is unique and we have different approaches. And
for
so I'd like
sure.
to know
Yeah.
more about your approach. Can you share about it? Like you're talking about the circadian rhythm. Tell
Mm-hmm.
us about that.
Yeah, well, I already touched base on it a little bit earlier, but yeah, I was working a lot of night shifts, and also by the time that I was diving into the rabbit hole, I soon came to realize that like the foundation of health is having a good and healthy circadian rhythm, like a internal clock that we all have, and that has to be optimal in order for your internal processes. Yeah, basically every cell in your body runs on light, like light signals that it gets from the sun. Um, or it can also get light from artificial light like this, and that basically dysregulates your system. Um, so I found that super fascinating because it's like the foundation of health, and the sun is basically the source of life as well. So I read up on a lot of material, still do, because it's a field that is fairly new in the medical and health optimization world. I think only for the past 10 years, there's more and more investigation and research coming out. So yeah, it is really at the starting point of developing and hopefully becoming, yeah, normal as well. Um, so yeah, then I realized how important it is to have like a healthy circadian rhythm, and I knew that at the time that the pandemic was going to end at some point, and that I was going to go back to working night shifts again, and I was very, very frustrated about that. And I was like, yeah, I know I have to, but I really don't want to, because I know now what kind of effect it can have on my health. But then I also thought maybe there's also a way I can do it, but lower the damage as much as possible, because we're day beings, so we're not supposed to live at night. We're supposed to be asleep at night when there's no light, because we're mammals, and yeah, we're supposed to be out and about when it's daylight outside. But I also dove into the research a bit, and then basically, yeah, developed like a personal protocol for myself, um, with some yeah, biohacks here and there, and yeah, basically also using light exposure as a tool to kind of mimic the effect of, yeah, like trick my body into thinking that it was day when I was working at night, and also speeding up my recovery a bit. So I started implementing that when yeah, I had to go back to work and work night shifts again. And it took me a while before I had it like fully figured out. It was a little bit trial and error. But yeah, after a few club editions, I was feeling so fit. Like basically Sunday would be always like a last day. So I would work the night shift Saturday nights. So I usually started at like 8 p.m. and then I would be back at home in bed, usually around 9 a.m., 10 a.m., more or less, something like that. So I would always lose the Sunday, and I accepted that as a rest day. But yeah, with my protocol in place, I would already be back up and running, even like sometimes going for an actual run outside in the morning on Monday.
Wow.
Whereas before, I would feel more or less recovered by Wednesday or something like that, sometimes even Thursday. So that really made like a huge impact and difference, also for my quality of life. Um, and yeah, I was also 33 at the time. So also as you get older, you can really start to feel the effects of not living in sync with your surroundings, and not living in sync with your circadian, yeah, environment, basically. But the fact is that we're so dysregulated, most of society nowadays, that we start to feel like this is normal. Like once you feel what it's like to live in a healthy manner, you start to experience like, whoa, oh, actually, whoa, there's way more energy and life and focus to life, basically, instead of just feeling like a, yeah, like a 50% version of yourself the whole time. Um,
So,
so
so
yeah.
what are the techniques and the practices to manage to get back on schedule during the week? How do you
Uh,
recover faster?
Yeah, without diving into the nitty-bitty parts of it too much, it comes down to having good daylight exposure also during the week, because then your body has like a good foundation already, and it's far easier to bounce back quickly if you already have like a solid baseline. So like have like a good sleeping rhythm, like a solid sleep schedule during the week also. And make sure that you also have your circadian health in check during the week. And like you can alter your, well, I can take it back to how I would usually do it. I would wake up Saturday morning, wake up, get daylight exposure, skip the coffee, go to the gym, have a workout, and then have like a big lunch. And then usually after lunch, I would take a nap. And by the time I woke up from that nap, it was like somewhere in the afternoon. I would also get my daylight exposure, do some grounding, and drink my first coffee, because that would mimic the cortisol spike that you would normally get in the morning to wake you up. So then my body would be like, whoa, okay, apparently cortisol is going up. We have to be active. And then in terms of meal timing, I would strategically time my meals. Because food is also a zeitgeber. Zeitgebers are cues that your body uses to tell what time it is in your surroundings. So light is like the biggest and most influential one of those. But food is also one of those, and for example, movement and temperature. So you can use those tools to kind of, shift your circadian rhythm if you would like to. Also, for example, if you're gonna switch time zones, if you're going to go for a faraway travel, things like that. So meal timing is a big one. Caffeine timing is a big one as well. Then also steering clear of stimulants during the night, because that will keep you far too active by the time you have to go to sleep. So that's a big one as well. And then also fasting mostly throughout the rest of the night, and having good and as much as possible, like light exposure the next day, so your body can absorb all those nutrients and sink back quickly to the rhythm you're supposed to be on. And it also helps you sleep better at night, so you recover quicker and better during your sleep. Because what most people don't realize is that your circadian clock is responsible for a lot of internal processes. Most of them, a big one of that one is also sleep, for example. So what I teach all my clients, it's also like something practical now for the workshop, is the first light signal that you should be getting when you wake up should be from the sun. And it has to be unfiltered daylight. So it doesn't work if you're inside and you have your windows or doors closed. You really have to crack a window and stick your head out, or even better, just go outside, because there's also light receptors in your skin. The biggest ones are in your eyes, which is also why you shouldn't wear contact lenses or glasses when you get that morning light signal. So the timing of that is also important. Like ideally you do that right after sunrise, so like slightly before sunrise, when there's like different kind of wavelengths that are stronger in the sun, because those also change throughout the day. So ideally you go outside around sunrise, and then make sure that you're staring in the direction of the sun for at least 5 to 10 minutes, ideally 20 minutes or longer. Longer is always better. But if you're short on time, consistency is more important than duration. So if you can only make it for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, that's already way better than just skipping it altogether, because the consistency is what will help you in the long run. So that's like the number one thing that I teach all my clients, and that sounds very little, but has a major effect in how you feel throughout the day, but also how you focus during the day, how your energy levels are, but also how you sleep at night. Because the minute your eyes get that light signal from the sun in the morning, and especially when it's UVA light that is present in the sun for those first moments at the day, your body gets the signal to already start with the melatonin production. And melatonin is the sleep hormone that helps you fall asleep. And that production needs that kickstart sign in the morning from getting that right light signal from the sun. So you can imagine if you skip that and you wake up and the first light signal you're getting is from your phone or from your lights in your, like the artificial lights in your bedroom, your body is very confused and it's like, what's happening? It's because the light that is very present in most of our artificial lights nowadays, especially like the modern LED light bulbs and the very bright screens that we have, are very blue and very green. And blue and green is most present in natural light, so in the sun, when it's like noon on a summer day. So it's like mid-June, 12 o'clock, super, super bright outside, and that's the way that you're like from those type of colors and yeah, wavelengths, your body gets the signal, okay, we have to be awake, we have to be alert, we have to be active. But you can imagine if that's the first signal your body's getting in the morning, it just skips the whole part of starting your melatonin production, lowering your cortisol, because your cortisol has to be very high as well. So you just skip a lot of internal processes, and that confuses your body, but it also makes it very hard for you to fall asleep at night because your melatonin didn't get that bright start. So it just slowly increases throughout the day. And then the peak, when it starts to peak very quickly, is when there's no more blue or green lights in your surroundings. So normally in nature, this would be after sunset, because after sunset or when the sun is setting, it's mostly red, infrared light. And that's for your body, it's the cue to slow down, to relax, and to ramp up melatonin production to make you sleepy. And also nowadays, if you look at modern living environments, everybody has like bright LED lights, artificial lights in their homes. I'm sitting in front of one now, which is also why I'm wearing these glasses. But yeah, if you can also imagine that if that is the light in your surroundings, also at night, when the sun has set outside already for hours, your body is still awake because it thinks it's still 12 o'clock midday. Which is also, and then you're also staring at your phone, which usually has like a very bright screen as well, or at your laptop or your TV, which is all like that very bright screaming. We call it junk lights, mostly because it's like, it's a bit like junk food. It's like very sickening, unhealthy. It basically drains you of energy instead of, it gives you energy in the sense like in nature, it would give you energy to be active and out and about. But in the long run, if it's artificial, it will drain your energy because you will feel not rested. There's also a link from a lot of research that it can actually damage the mitochondria, like the little energy factories in your cells. So there's like more and more research coming out that, modern lighting is actually basically making us sick. So yeah, the more you can avoid it, and especially at nighttime, when you're supposed to be winding down, the better your sleep and overall health are going to be in the future. And also making sure that you are exposed to as much natural light during the day. So by taking light breaks, like normally, well, back in the days when a lot of people were still smoking, people would take smoke breaks, but I recommend taking light breaks and maybe even combining it with a little movement, like a little walk or stretching or something like that. Even just 5 minutes every 2 hours, something like that, because also the sun changes throughout the day, like the wavelengths and the signals and all those kind of things, they change and they vary throughout the day. So your body needs to like sync all the time to tell what kind of time of day it is. And it's also very good for your energy and for your focus. It's also something, for example, if you struggle with a lot of anxiety, stuff like that, the sun helps you to like streamline those neurotransmitters to help you calm your nervous system. So that's always like so important as well. If you want to have like a good mental health, to be outside as much as possible, and especially to not skip that morning light exposure, because it also makes sure that your neurotransmitters like your dopamine, your serotonin, all those kind of things, they get streamlined and reset as well. So if you lack with focus and energy and low motivation, the best thing you can do is go outside, get that sunlight exposure. And it sounds very simple, but it is really true. Like I've seen it with so many clients that they start implementing this, and usually by the first day already when they do this, they feel like a better person, like more energized and more, more in good spirit and motivated and ready to tackle life, so to say. So
I
yeah,
have a
it sounds
question.
like a small thing, but it can have like a massive effect. Yeah, yeah,
I have a question. So I'm
yeah,
lucky. I live in Barcelona where it's
yeah,
sunny most of the year. How is
yeah,
it in countries like more in Northern Europe where the winter is dark and it can
yeah,
be very
like it is here
cloudy and
now.
rainy, and so
Yeah,
there's not in so much sunlight. How can we uh,
yeah,
put some good light in our body? Do you
yeah.
recommend
That's
plants or?
it is trickier if you live in the northern hemisphere because we do have like for example, end of October until end of February, we can't synthesize vitamin D in our bodies from the sun because we all know the sun is very important for vitamin D production because it kickstarts that metabolism where vitamin D is actually a hormone that your body grows itself by getting those right light signals from UVB light. And in the northern hemisphere for like October until February, the UVB light we get here, the signal is not strong enough for us to synthesize vitamin D. So that's also why you see a lot of people getting sick here during winter because their vitamin D levels just drop. But what the mistake is that many people make is that you should build like a high dosage of vitamin D throughout the rest of the year when vitamin D is highly available from the sun, like from Feb onwards until like end of October, and especially during summer. If you have like healthy sun exposure, like not going out when the sun is at its strongest, but like especially like earlier in the day and around sunrise and the few hours before that, your body can also get used to having that light exposure and absorb as much of it. And the more skin you expose to the sun, the better for that vitamin D production. But you also have to build that, yeah, tolerance for the sun, and also be responsible. So not go into the sun and just stay there for like a whole day when it's like at its strongest at somewhere mid-July. You have to be responsible, of course, to avoid sunburns, but yeah, most people sit inside all day long, all year round. And then when it's summer, they go into the sun and they wear a lot of like chemical sunscreens. And then they get fed up by the fact that they got sunburned because they're not used to all that light exposure. But if you start building that in the start of the year and are responsible with your light exposure, you can easily go without any sunscreen. I haven't worn any sunscreen for years and never burned because I also go into the shade when I have to or go inside. So yeah, for vitamin D, you have to be outside as much as possible throughout the rest of the year. So you can already build those levels because your body can store a lot of those levels inside. And then when winter comes, your body can use that storage for the rest of the winter until it's becoming available again. And in terms of mental health and energy and also like health in general, even in winter, it's important to go outside and to get that light exposure because there's still like a whole lot of other benefits that you can get from the sun, even when it's not that strong as it normally is during summer. The sun is always there and it's always shining. I mean, if you're on a plane and you fly through like a very cloudy deck, at a certain point you reach the point above the gray deck and you're like, oh wow, the sun is shining. So you know it's there because it is shining, otherwise it would be dark outside. So it can feel pretty, yeah, useless if it's like a super gray, foggy day, like it has been over here for the past week, to just go outside and get that light exposure. But even then, you can still reap the benefits of getting that light exposure, even here in the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, it is less appealing to go outside when it's super gray and foggy, but I can still feel the difference with my energy. And even the cold helps with that as well. It helps my body to ramp up metabolism and to, yeah, be more sufficient if it comes to energy management. So, yeah, no, for sure, get that light exposure as much as possible.
Okay. I have a question regarding touring artists who do
Yeah.
several summers in the year. What's your take on traveling and being always like in the hot weather and
Well,
having
lucky them. Yeah, I mean, like ideally, they say that the best living environment is where it's always summer because they're like your body literally gets energy from being in the sun. Like your mitochondria, they are healthy and they're doing a better job when there's like a lot sunlight available to them. So ideally, everybody would live around the equator, but that's not doable. But no, yeah, if you have the means and you're able to travel and live in and avoid winter as much as possible, go for it for sure. Like from a circadian standpoint, that's very healthy. But also living in seasons can have its benefits because the cold and the dark and the scarcity. I actually did a post about this yesterday. It's also a season for slowing down, for reflecting, for healing, to go inwards, and also maybe to do like a little fasting to like basically clear out all those old cells and renew your cells and throw away the ones that you're not using. So it's also a very healing time. Whereas the summer can take up a lot of energy because it's like a high-paced, high energy kind of energy. So I also believe that seasons are here for a reason. And especially if you're like genetically bound to the northern hemisphere, like we both have like exotic genes, but if your genes are like fully accustomed to like the northern hemisphere, then your body, I think, also needs that from like a biological genetic standpoint. So yeah, ideally, I would also be in like a tropical climate a bit more during winter, at least for like a break. So if artists have those means, by all means, yeah, go for it. Like lucky you. Yeah.
Good, good. Yes, I think regarding the seasons, like in Chinese medicine, it is important to like take all the benefits of each season
Yeah.
because we build on each season for the following season.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
if we skip one season, then there can be some imbalance in the following season.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how everything was already discovered in like ancient history. Like in ancient history, people would also worship the sun and the moon and live according to cycles and stuff like that. And now we just have this endless summer that just goes on all year round. Especially if you look at our light environments, like it just screams summer, 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 summer. And also if you look at like indoor heating and stuff like that, we're not used to getting cold anymore. And we're not used to living in darkness anymore, even though in nature and older cultures, that was a part of life. And it was also a way of, yeah, adjusting your life accordingly. And I also believe that it's not healthy to live in that high energy pace the whole year round, because that really takes its toll in the end. Yeah.
Definitely. Yes, it's like the yin and the yang.
Hmm.
We need to
Yeah.
balance both
Yeah.
sides. And
Yeah, no,
yeah,
for
modern
sure. Yeah,
society is very young, very active, and always like doing, and like
yeah,
you say, more light, more activity, and yes, and sometimes we need to have the body rest so that
yeah,
we can build on that
exactly.
and use that energy in the active times.
Hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, I couldn't agree more, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, all in balance.
Anything you want to share more about the power of daylight?
Very good question. I think I already touched base on a lot of it. Um, yeah, my big takeaways would be starting each day outside or with your head outside a window without contact lenses or glasses. um, yeah, just to get that right light signal, and yeah, just try it out for a week and see how you feel. I can assure you, you will feel better. I've never heard anybody come back to me saying they're feeling worse. But yeah, try to make a habit out of that. And also, especially when it's dark outside, it should be as dark as possible in your home.
Mm.
So there's also even apps you can use to yeah, to lower the brightness of your screen and also turn it red, because red is where the absence of blue is. So for example, in our home, we also have red light bulbs at night. And yeah, our friends, they laugh at us because they tell us it looks like the red light district. But it really has an effect on how you wind down at night and also how you sleep after. So yeah, try avoiding big, bright, artificial lights after sunset, especially in winter when we should have more melatonin in our bodies, because that also helps with healing and all those kind of things. And make sure you get enough light breaks throughout the day, especially now in winter when we spend more time indoors. That will have a massive effect on your energy levels, your mental health, your focus, your energy, but also on your physical health for sure. So I think those are like the biggest and easiest takeaways I can give people for now, because there's like a whole lot more to it that is, yeah, far too much to like narrow down for these this workshop, I would say. But if people are interested in learning more, they can always reach out. And also, yeah, if they would like to learn more about how to implement these tools into like a music industry setting as an artist or event professional or something like that, because yeah, there's like tailor-made strategies that you can implement to make life a little easier for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you for all this information on this topic. I have a few more questions.
Yeah.
With the clients you've been working so far, what
Mm-hmm.
are the main health and well-being issues that has been raised?
Oof, good question. Anxiety, like having too much stress, I would say. Like a dysregulated nervous system. Imposter syndrome is also a big one. Having trouble with structure, um, especially structure throughout the week when they don't have gigs to play.
Mm,
Trouble sleeping, uh, trouble with like adopting a healthy lifestyle altogether, especially if you have like a turbulent life as an artist that's touring a lot. And also dopamine dysregulation, I would say, but that's something that most of people in society nowadays also have. Yeah. Um, I think those are like the yeah, biggest issues I come across. You?
Talking about dopamine, do you recommend a digital detox?
Um, well, if you have an addiction to your phone and social media and being in contact with people, if that is your drug, so to say, then yeah, a digital detox would definitely be good to do every now and then. But yeah, it would have to be for like a month or so. So that's hardly doable for people nowadays.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely limiting screen time is a good one for everybody in general, also from a circadian standpoint. But yeah, there's also people addicted to their work, for example, or addicted to certain rituals or hobbies, behaviors. It doesn't have to be like a substance or anything like that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting research about that as well. And yeah, I would say, yeah, digital detox, or at least limit screen time. That's already also a big a big one that I also teach my clients, indeed, to limit screen time, especially before bed or when you wake up, to also regulate that dopamine a bit more. Yeah.
Yes. And maybe for music producer, maybe they could get back to machines
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hardware instead of working on their computers to produce music.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And
This
if you're a DJ, then go back to vinyl. Yeah.
yes, definitely. And what is your go-to practice when you feel stressed?
I would have to say when I'm out in public, a physiological sigh. So you inhale for 2 times through your nose until your lungs are like full, and then you exhale through your mouth and you exhale longer than you inhale. That's like very, very effective at lowering stress. It's also scientifically proven. And usually when I do it twice, so within 30 seconds, I can already feel my anxiety or my stress. Well, I don't have anxiety, but I feel my stress going down. And the other one, when I'm at home, I also like to do the butterfly hug, where you do like bilateral tapping. It's a polyvagal exercise to let the body know that it's safe. And sometimes I combine breath work with butterfly hug or another polyvagal exercise. Yeah, but I love working through the body instead of just being in your head. And like the body is a quicker highway to calm yourself down and lower your stress, which I find usually more effective than meditating myself to calmness, for example. Yeah.
Great. And in terms of exercise, what's your favorite physical practice, embodied practice?
I would have to say strength and conditioning training. So strength training in the gym and conditioning also in the gym. So a combination of interval trainings for cardio and zone 2, like you're in your zone 2 aerobic zone for cardio, and then strength. Yeah, it speaks for itself, like weights, plates, barbells, all those things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't go too much to the gym anymore.
Okay.
Like 2 years ago, I got injured. I was trying to do a Bruce Lee challenge, and
Oh.
I was trying to raise a bar, but like laying down with a bar
Yeah.
behind my head, and I hurt my shoulder, and
Oh.
I had a tendinitis during like almost a year. That
Ow.
and
That sounds painful. Yeah.
was quite painful, and I'm
Yeah.
super happy and grateful that I recovered entirely,
Yeah.
and so that's a good thing. But I
Yeah.
think that yes, that that strength workout is not so much for me. Well,
No, it was a nice experiment, but you
yes,
just stick to your qigong and all those kind of things. Yeah.
yes,
And
and
yoga and
martial
yeah.
arts, kung fu
Yeah.
and tai chi.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's already a lot, like a dynamic workout with that. That's
Yeah.
good.
The weights are not for you.
The weights, it's no, my body is not too much into that. I like
No.
swimming as well.
Mm. I love swimming. I don't do it often, but yeah, I love swimming in outdoor waters, like in the sea and lakes and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yes. Well, come visit me in Barcelona.
I would love to. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sonar is in June.
I used to go there every year when I was a booker still. Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. It's a nice vibe. Yeah. And I love Barcelona. So yeah.
Let, let's see what we can do.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
Yeah. So I want to conclude. Where can people find you?
I would say definitely check out my Instagram page because I also share a lot of insights and tips on health and circadian health. So it's the handle is at SolSync with an Y at solsync.health. So mostly there, I would say, or my website www.solsync.nl. They can also read more about my approach and about my background and about my services. And my contact details are on my website as well. So should be fairly easy. I mean, I also have LinkedIn. I don't check LinkedIn that much. I should check it out more. But so if you drop me a message there, I will probably reply in like a month later or something like that. But yeah, I'm daily on Instagram. So yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Perfect. And do you have any public speaking gigs coming up?
Good question. Well, I did ENC. I have a panel in Rotterdam on the 21st of February about mental health in nightlife. It's organized by Poing. I think it's free entry. So if people live in the Netherlands, come check it out, I would say. And so far, that's it for now, I think. There's stuff in the works, but that's not announced yet or like final yet. Yeah.
Great. Well, the people in Holland, in the Netherlands, they're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. Doing what I can. Yeah,
And thank you for joining.
my pleasure. Yeah, I hope it was useful for people.
And we'll have more conversations like this.
For
Thank you.
sure. Yeah. You too. Thanks for having me.